Okay, we have returned from closed session. Please turn your cell phones off or to vibrate. Let the record show that Trustee Sanchez Fulton has joined us. In closed session, a motion was made by Trustee Stefan and second by Trustee Broughton to authorize the approval of a resignation agreement and settlement of all claims agreement with employee number 0546511, effective May 26, 2017. The motion carried with 5 members voting in favor and 0 members voting no. We move on to our next item, which is swearing in of our new student trustee. And leave it to me to lose the oath. Julia. I'm Googling it. God bless you, girl. Okay. All righty. Arturo, will you please come forward? Arturo Delgado. Is your family here?
Yes, they're all in the back.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties that I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Would you like to take a picture? Okay, photo op? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, and family members?
Robin, we need direction. Give us direction.
My uncle, brother-in-law, and my sister.
Yes, your family. The whole family. The whole family.
No, no.
Up.
The whole?
Everybody that's here.
Everybody you brought.
Everybody I brought?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah, they came to see you.
Of course.
So everybody you brought.
Of course. Well, except the ones you don't like, that one.
Everybody. Everybody
Yep.
comes up, yeah.
Everybody you brought.
Please come on up. This is the time now to celebrate.
Very good, I like that.
Okay, everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, they are coming right
Get
now.
them all.
Oh,
We
okay.
have you.
More.
There's a lot, yeah. He's the father. He's the father.
Where's the little tiny one?
Okay.
There you go. We like that.
Okay, we ready?
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
No, that was great. That was.
Arturo, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Speech.
Well, I just wanted to thank my whole family who came here.
and the board and everybody, faculty that have supported me throughout my first year in college. The first person, or I'd like to name a few people I'd like to thank. First and foremost, I'd like to thank God. He's really helped me throughout the thick and thin. Second most is Vanessa. She was basically my campaign manager, and without her, I wouldn't have tried. So she told me, hey, you're going to spend money. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I am. So, and then especially I would thank my family for always sticking through me, through everything, through the hard times, through the great times. And without them, I know I wouldn't be here today. And then I'd like to thank everybody who voted for me, who entrusted me with this position to not just represent them well, but represent everybody well, the community. So I hope to be working with all of you, and I'm happy to be working with all of you. And I hope that I'm not a perfect student trustee, because I know I'm not, but I hope I'm an effective student trustee. So thank you so much.
Okay, very good. We now move on to public updates. Dr. Kinnaman?
I have no public updates at this time, thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, moving on to item number 7, public comments. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item may do so at this time. There is a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic. Unless further time is granted by the board, your comments will be timed and you will be asked to stop speaking when the timer sounds. Please understand the board welcomes your comments, but are not able to wholly respond to those comments. Julia, do you have any requests to speak? No. Oh, okay. Well, with that, we will move on to item number 8, which is introduction of staff. Dr. Kinnaman.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. First, as I call your name, if you are present, can you come up, and then when I conclude with everybody, we're going to take a picture. And I'll start first with Irene Morales, our admission and records technician. And Irene has 6 years experience working with student records. She was previously at an independent study school where she worked at a site satellite office. For a long time, Irene had expressed that she wanted to be part of an office team, and she reports that she is very happy to now be part of an awesome... Did somebody tell you to say that? An awesome A&R... Where's Kurt at? An awesome A&R office team, and is excited to apply what she has learned in a larger setting. Next, I have Alejandra Lopez, transfer and career centers specialist.
Good morning.
Alejandra grew up in Mecca and graduated from Desert Mirage High School in 2012. She then attended UCLA, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in International Development and Geography in 2016. Her background is in conservational research, I'm sorry. I was trying to, I thought, I have not ever heard of that before, so. She is looking forward to working with students to help facilitate their transition from community colleges to four-year institutions. Next, we have Renan Avanzini, security officer, and Renan is originally from Peru. He owned and ran a security business providing security to VIPs and is a Public Safety Academy graduate. Welcome.
Congratulations. Welcome.
And next we have Leonardo Olmeda, Security Officer. Leonardo came to COD from Imperial Valley College for 6 years prior and has lots of counterterrorism training and is an Academy graduate.
Welcome.
So we're going to take a picture and we're going to give you an opportunity if you have anything that you want to say.
Please come to the microphone and yeah.
I just want to say thank you to the board. And I also want to say thank you to my director, who's sitting right there, for believing in us. And just thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other comments? Please come forward.
Well, I want to say thank you very much to the board as well, and my director for giving me the opportunity to work for his department. I'm really excited to work here, and to be honest with you, I plan on staying for a long time, if possible. I really like this work environment, and it's probably one of the best jobs I've had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies, any? Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to my coworkers and anyone who's giving me the opportunity to be here. It's been wonderful being part of the COD community, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank the board and Kurt for this work opportunity, and I'm very grateful to be here.
We're glad
Very
to have
good.
you. Thank you.
Do you want them to, how do you want to do this?
We have you behind the board and let's take a picture. Yeah. If you don't mind.
I don't want to stand.
Don't want to see.
No, I'd rather sit down. Sit down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it for that introduction, sir?
It is. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Just as an aside, if Dr. Kinnaman and I look like twins, I can't imagine that we would, but he's loaned me his my much-needed reading glasses, which I left at home today, so thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. We now move on to item number 9, which is the minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the regular meeting minutes of May 19th, 2017?
Thank you, Julia, for all your hard work.
You're catching up. If there are none, they stand approved. So we now move on to reports, and the first one is with our associate students. And Isaiah, oh, Scott, come on up. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. So first off, I would like to congratulate our new student trustee. We're very proud of him. Moving on from that, the planning for the fall calendar of events has begun, and that'll be finalized August 1st. Some of the programs are going to include the Cancer Society, Relay for Life, and El Paseo Breast Cancer Walk. Homecoming for 2017 is going to have the theme of Catch the Spirit. We want it to invigorate campus pride and campus spirit, and it'll include a full week of activities to promote a long-time tradition that's hopefully going to be one of our greatest events of the year. Our student leader retreat site has been identified, And we're going to include the student leaders from ASCOD, as well as the Office of Student Life. And we're also going to have a few special guests, such as Dean Maldonado and James Meyer. And we also hope to start working with Dr. Neary and the Facilities Advisory Committee to shift the game room and the ASCOD office so that we're able to better interact with students here on campus so that they know that we're there. Yesterday, we had the Find Food Bank, here on campus, where we are able to provide to students in need. We had many volunteers, such as our trustee and many of the administrators who were giving out food, and it was beautiful. Sorry. Okay. And then, yeah, this was a great year for the associated students. Hopefully in the future, what we plan to do is have an increased amount of growth. Definitely want to increase student participation, really get out there, definitely upping our social networking and media, as that tends to get a lot of the younger generation and or older generations involved with campus activities. Thank you.
Is he talking to us?
Huh?
He's not talking to us, is he?
No, I know.
KMIR.
We'll send you the clip of it. Can you? Yes.
Thank you.
He was basically in the whole thing, yeah.
Thank you so much. We now move on to CSEA. Lauro? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Board of Trustees, administration, faculty, staff, students, and esteemed guests. At board meetings, we often recognize the achievements and work of our institution, of our students, our faculty, and our staff. Just recently, Mary Lisi reminded me of the importance of our Board of Trustees, as each of you represent your constituents on this board, and at the same time as each of you represent College of the Desert across the valley in your communities. Thank you for those many hours attending events, preparing for board meetings, and as wise trustees leading the affairs of our college. We, the Classified Bargaining Unit, appreciate your work and acknowledge you as you independently make informed decisions that affect our students, our faculty, and our classified staff. Health and welfare. We again thank the board for your support in offsetting the $200 a month that was lost when the district did not move to CBT last year. Again, in October, we revert back to the permanent $1,400 a month district contribution, and this is something that continues to be a serious concern to our members. We recently had the opportunity to review the past, and we found that when we first moved to CISC, that was in, if you can believe it, in 2010. So now 7 years ago, when we compare the cost of the plans then to the cost of what would be the same plans, the same level of copay, the same deductibles, the increase is, we're talking about, it's 150%, 7 years. That's, you know, and there's that whole thought of, when you boil, if you boil a frog and it's little by little, it's increased that much. In the meantime, we do appreciate that the district has increased the district contributions, but of that amount, it only covers about 30% of that increase. The way that we have handled it in the past is we have, as a Health and Welfare Committee, we have looked at the plans, gone through, you saw my stack last time, that's not even most of it. We have looked at the plan designs and we have changed them to make them more affordable. But this is a risky proposition for us, because when you make plans more affordable, that means that the copays are higher. For example, the 80% plan, you double the deductible, and now suddenly when someone is sick, someone who, in the case of our group, where, you know, most of us living paycheck to paycheck, you know, when the water heater goes and the HVAC goes, suddenly you have a deductible that you get hit right away, and, you know, God forbid that there's a serious medical condition that happens, and you've chosen the plan that you can afford, and suddenly it only covers 80%. That's significant. And so our goal in the Health and Welfare Committee is to balance the premium costs with the costs that potentially could hit us. And that's a challenge, because when we look at the SIS plans as we have them now, if we really seriously take a look at them, they're difficult to deal with. And so what we have been looking at, and we understand, you know, there are budget constraints to asking the district to increase, to go back to, you know, the good old days when every increase was absorbed by the district. That was a long time ago. But then what's happened is now the increases have been absorbed more and more by the staff. And that's really problematic. So we have worked really hard. Our concern now is that we're at a place where we were waiting for CVT to provide its final quote. We've actually received that. However, since we've received that, we had a health and welfare meeting that was scheduled. It has been canceled, and we have asked whether we're going to meet again. And at this point, we don't have a scheduled meeting time, and that's a serious concern. I've prepared for you. You have my written board report with some details on other things that have happened. I am happy to report that we were able to reach a settlement on a grievance related to substitute classification, and I appreciate the board, and our unit appreciates the board's support in that. It is much better to work things out and come up with language to help things not happen like that, and to not spend substantial amount of money on lawyers. Thank you for your attention, and again, thank you for representing College of the Desert amongst our community, and for representing your constituents here as our Board of Trustees. Thank you all.
Thank you. Next is our Adjunct Association. Do we have a representative here?
Oh dear, never done it before.
Would you kindly state your name and for the record?
Yes, I'm Michael Gladish,
Mhm.
and I'm on the board of the College of the Desert Adjunct Association. And so, Madam Chair, Dr. Kinnaman, I hear it's your birthday, so all the adjuncts want to wish you a real happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Honored members of the board and our terrific administrators. Speaking for the adjuncts, we regret to report that contract negotiations are still ongoing, and the two most critical items, pay and health benefits, are unresolved. At issue is what is called parity between adjuncts and full-time faculty. Parity is a matter of fairness. Full-timers are paid far more than adjuncts for similar work. Since 2001, our collective bargaining agreement has called for parity with full-time faculty, yet the gap in pay and benefits persists. As we reported to you in February, and this was based on the most recent data available from the Chancellor's Office, from 1990 to 2013, the change in our parity rate has increased by only 1/4 of a percentage point. That's essentially no change in 23 years. Parity is an agreed-upon goal mandated by the Ed Code. How does the district plan to achieve it? Anyway, it goes without saying how vital the role of adjuncts is at COD. This summer, 60% of the classes offered, 60% are being taught by adjuncts. In Indio, 86% of the classes are being taught by adjuncts. Some examples of recent contributions made by adjuncts include on May 23rd, a one-day student art and music festival organized by the students of adjunct art professor Scott Klinger was held at the Hilb. It featured live music by COD students and alumni, live painting of chaparral newspaper stands, a student-curated art show, an exhibit by the Architecture Club, and a KCOD booth. The event was covered by local NBC affiliate KMIR TV6, as well as KCOD and the Chaparral newspaper. Number 2, as you may recall, last month we reported on the manner in which several adjuncts were notified of not receiving teaching assignments for fall 2017, among them Dr. Robert Pellenbarg. While Dr. Pellenbarg won't be teaching it for COD this summer or fall, he will be working with 6 COD STEM students at the CSU San Bernardino campus. The students will be engaged in original research projects in chemistry and physics. Number 3, the Living Desert Scholarship Fund, co-founded and chaired by business adjunct Steve Fuchs, in 3 short years has raised sufficient funds to provide annual scholarships for veterans attending COD and Valley High School seniors seeking careers supporting the Living Desert's mission. The current recipients include COD students in resource management, chemistry, plant science, as well as 9 other students at various universities, some of whom got their start at COD. And fourthly, the Solutions Kiosk program is a practical business development class taught by adjuncts. This spring, the kiosk team included several students from COD's international and DSPS programs, so our adjunct instructors emphasized the development of good customer relationship skills. The immediate outcome was that these students greatly improved both English language proficiency and social interaction abilities. To the surprise of other students and many professors, these improvements translated back into the classroom, where these kiosk team members went from passive participants to active leaders in class discussions and became A students. Adjunct instructors do more than just teach classes. They develop confidence in our future community leaders. But to return to the issue of contract negotiations, remember, there's been virtually no change to the parity gap in 23 years. Right now, that gap means that for the same hour of work for which a full-time professor is paid nearly $100, an adjunct is paid about $55. We hope this board will demonstrate their commitment to fulfilling the promise made in the collective bargaining agreement and take meaningful, practical steps toward achieving parity with our full-time colleagues.
Thank you, sir. Next, we move on to Faculty Association. Denise Diamond. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a folder here for each of the trustees. Congratulations to our student trustee.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. Since the May board meeting, we have been very busy. Bargaining. The Faculty Association will hold its final bargaining session of the academic year on June 19th, this coming Monday. Our contract expires on June 30th, and we will need to extend it. Today, I'd like to focus my comments on health and welfare. Here's a summer pop quiz. How important are deductibles in determining your health plan? What if you have separate deductibles for prescription than for medical? What do you and your family need to know about out-of-pocket maximums? What's the difference between blended and unblended plans? What do you need to know to select a good plan at a competitive price? Generic prescriptions may be free, but what if non-generics are required for your diagnosis? If you were selecting a mortgage broker, an attorney for a will, you certainly would be wise to ask a lot of critical questions and get informed from those who have been in the field. So how much more important is our health care? We know that you share our concern on this very important topic, which affects all of those who get health coverage at COD. So that packet of information includes information given to the Health and Welfare Committee on both quotes from CISC and CBT, which, as Laurel mentioned, have arrived. Also the minutes to the CPC meeting, which represents a significant change and how health and welfare is being managed at College of the Desert. Where do we stand for our health and welfare benefits for next year? We know that benefits are negotiated at the bargaining table. We know that CSCA is the largest user group and CODFA the next. And we have the exact same contract language for Health and Welfare Committee. For decades, we have collaborated in health and welfare to select provider and plans to recommend to the college community. Not this year. May and June health and welfare meetings have been canceled. The vote that passed in the Health and Welfare Committee to delay a recommendation on selecting a provider until CVT quotes were presented was approved at the May 12 CPC meeting and not approved at the 5/26 CPC meeting on graduation day. The Faculty Association has sent a formal request. Is the Health and Welfare Committee meeting to select provider and plans? We have not received an answer. So, if the Health and Welfare Committee is not meeting to select provider and plans, then we can assume that each constituency group will be on their own to do so as provided by our contract at the bargaining table. CODFA will provide the faculty with transparent information on this process and a comparison chart that the faculty can use if they choose to do so. And by the way, putting together a comparison chart is a long process that takes a considerable amount of time. Speaking of transparency, we would like to suggest that the bids and materials that have been provided to the Health and Welfare Committee be posted on the portal. We also suggest that the paid broker can provide a comparative chart and that the committee agree as to what that comparison chart should be now that we do have final quotes from the both companies that were on the RFP. That is CISC and CVT. I really don't know what the district intends to do with all these changes, but I do know that selecting plans requires patience, thoughtfulness, and time. Because health benefits are a priority for the faculty, we spend a lot of time and effort looking at plan options and asking questions. There are no simple sound bites to this issue. Diminishing the opportunity to select plans has unintended negative consequences for the largest user groups, faculty and staff. And it is remarkably ironic that while the district is concerned about deficit spending, it's not saving money on health plans. While the district says it's transparent and vetting information, the very committee, Health and Welfare, tasked to do just that, is not meeting. I'm gonna get a lot of checkups this summer.
Thank you so much. Academic Senate. There's no representative here. Okay. We do have, trustees did receive a report, so you do have that information. Moving on to College of the Desert Foundation. Is there a representative? Peter is not here. Is there, I don't recall receiving a written report. Okay. President Kinnaman, can we remind Mr. Sturgeon to, if he's unable to make it, to please provide a report and also perhaps extend an invitation to the new foundation chair to come and introduce herself at our next board meeting. Okay, we now move on to reports from the governing board. And Student Trustee Delgado, your first opportunity to make a report. Do you have anything you want to say?
Well, I have no real report. Scott Rutherford said everything that was on my mind. But one thing I'd like to say is, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to represent the students. And I just want to give a little backstory about myself, if that's okay.
If, a few minutes?
Yeah,
Just-
like a
just-
few seconds,
Just,
yeah.
okay.
Perfect. I came from DHS, Desert Hot Springs, and I went to an elementary school. Elementary school, Wensloff, then went there to a private school in Palm Springs. It's called Desert Chapel. After that, graduated from there from middle school, then took on high school, and now I'm here at College of the Desert. And I took on the EDGE program because I didn't do so well on the assessment program, which was a great benefit. And I'm glad that was put into place. And I hear it's getting bigger and bigger every year. It certainly doubled this year from 700 to 1,200, like 300, 400, which is amazing. And I came out of that, and I was able to be one of the first student ambassadors because of Dr. Neary and Carlos Maldonado. And from there, I was able to find out about this ASCOD. And I was able to become a senator, and then I ran for student trustee this year. So that's basically my whole story in a nutshell. Thank you so much.
Great. Trustee Sanchez Fulton?
Well, I think like all our fellow board members, we're very excited with all the commencements that happened. It was a very busy month, and I want to thank our staff, our classified, our teachers that put together all our commencements in the month of May. It was absolutely the best, I just have to say, one of the best commencements that I've ever attended. Not only we had the highest graduating class, but it was just a really great time to celebrate the achievements of all the students and all the great work our teachers do, our staff and our classified, to make their dreams come true and to reach for the stars. So it was a very wonderful commencement. Like all of us here on the board, you know, we attended a lot of our police academy, our nursing academy commencement. But I kind of want to mention something really, really special that I attended. Was our own Desert Hot Springs High graduation. It was so beautiful to attend all the high school graduation, not only the Desert Hot Springs, but our Indio Raja high school commencement. And I just wanted to, as much as I want to go over all the different events, I just kind of want to read a letter that I received from one of the principals. You know, we're trying to build these partnerships with the high schools in our K through 12, so just kind of want to mention this. Thank you for being part of the class of 2017 commencement ceremony at Indio High School. Your participation was appreciated by the staff, students, and families. I sincerely value your presence at our first graduation ceremony as principal, and thank you for helping make the Indio Raja memorable evening and for your wonderful support and encouragement. The principal, Derek Lawson of Indio High School. As a member of our community here in the higher ed, it was, I think all our boards should, if we could start a tradition, if we can, with all our busy schedules, to attend our K through 12 high school graduation. It was an honor and a privilege to see Shadow Hills High School, Indio High School, and I know my other trustee also attended Amistad High School. I missed that one, so I do apologize to the principal there. But it was a wonderful time to celebrate new beginnings. And I also want to welcome, I always give a shout out to our sports, all our Indio High, Desert Hot Springs High athletes that are now coming and becoming part of our Road Runner family. We're welcoming a lot of our local high school athletes into COD. And I hope maybe in our future meeting, Dr. Kinnaman, that we could kind of bring all our new volleyball players. I think try to bring a little more, you know, the Roadrunner spirit to our board meetings and introduce our volleyball players. You know, they practice so hard, our soccer players, our golf members, just to know who they are. Because, you know, after studying, you know, I played in sports. You know, you're studying in school, but then when you're playing sports, that takes a lot of time. So it would be nice to kind of meet our teams, our volleyball team, our basketball team. Maybe in the future we can have that and kind of just take one team at a time, our golf team, one meeting. Also want to mention this month I was, Mr. Kinnaman, I don't know if you received that letter from the Latino Policy Institute. the Southern California Latino Policy Institute. Did you get that email?
I would have to go back and check. I
Okay.
apologize.
So I will send this. I just want to I want to thank and congratulate the Southern California Latino Policy Institute for featuring me and doing a profile, and the great team we do with my fellow board members. So it was a kind of a featured on what we're doing here in the Desert Community College District, and kind of talking about our EDGE program, our free community college, and all the different programs. So it's an honor to be featured in this month's newsletter among all the electeds of all of Southern California. So we have mayors, congressmen, assembly people, and it was such an honor to be featured as a profile for this month. So it's an honor to be part of that. Also wanna, if you can just give me a moment, I just lost my notes here and I put it on my phone and it just died here. Oh, the food distribution. It was so wonderful with my fellow trustees to serve and be part of our food distribution. Having spearheaded that program for me, the food distribution, I just hope we also, Dr. Neary, not only do food distribution, but have showers, have our wraparound services. And I'd like to get an update on that in the future to see what we're doing on that. Madam Chair, if I could just, I have to.
Are you, in the interest of time, are you?
May I just finish though?
Okay.
Thank you.
Not too much longer. Please.
No, I just want to, because I didn't, I missed last month's meeting, so I kind of want to catch up to.
We have some time constraints.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically attended the Greater Chamber Legislative Luncheon. Also, along with my fellow board members, I think I'm going to repeat because a lot of us attended the same things. Trustee Wilson, Trustee Broughton, and I attended the swearing in of our new supervisor, Manuel Perez. So it was a wonderful event to attend that out in UC Riverside. And yesterday I attended also the birthday party of our supervisor, Manuel Perez, in Riverside. So it was wonderful to see and attend that event. Just for the record, as public officials, I'd like to always kind of tell what we're doing out in the community. So also attended the BIA official, it was an elected officials mixer, so you get to meet other electeds in the Coachella Valley and hear what they're doing also. And I believe, the City of Desert Hot Springs Memorial Day. It was wonderful to attend our own city's Memorial Day celebration where we honored the veterans. I also attended the Desert Hot Springs Veterans FFW post. So that's all our veterans there. It was a wonderful experience to meet with all our military from across the valley. So that was wonderful to attend. And most and foremost, I want to give a commendation to he's not here, to our own Jim Hummer. I attended his, along with Trustee Wilson and President Kinnaman, and I believe Lisa, you were there, the retirement for our own Mr. 3 million in 3 months man. So it was a wonderful event to attend, and we will sure miss Mr. Hummer. And I know Peter will take on that new role as the new foundation member. And so that concludes my report, and I will be forwarding that written report to Julia. So if anybody wants to see, I think I forgot a couple of the other public events I attended, but just for the record, thank you.
Trustee Yan?
Thank you. It just seems like a few days ago we had commencement, and things happen so quickly during commencement. I do want to take the time to again express appreciation to everyone who's involved in making commencement happen. It is the last contact our students have with us, and it should be a very special, individualized contact, and it went very well this year. So special thanks to everyone who made that happen, from putting together the program to assembly to security, everything. It's a major event, and it's so much appreciated. In the interest of time, I just want to refer people to Time Magazine last week, which had a very nice article on the case for community colleges in the country. And it had some very interesting facts, so I'll just pick up two for you. One was, quote, the increasing recognition that community colleges are now seen as the primary vehicles for workforce training in the United States. And following that, the differential between lifetime earning potential of a high school graduate and a community college graduate is expanding, and will continue to expand based on growing sophistication of the workplace. So this article really has some nice tidbits. One final tidbit was programs across the country that are increasing graduation rates. And the most successful has been programs that provide support so students can get out of the part-time student role into the full-time student role. And in City University of New York, doubled its graduation rate for programs like that. Thank you.
Trustee Stefan?
I'm going to try to make this really quick. I want to congratulate our new student trustee, Arturo. We're thrilled to have you on our board, and we know it's going to be a great year, and we know you're going to be the perfect student trustee, okay? Not just effective, but perfect. And happy birthday to President Kinnaman today. And I want to wish everybody a happy belated Flag Day. I did wear my red, white, and blue today for that. And then I wanted to thank everyone that made our commencement and all of the festivities that went prior to that such a wonderful success. I became totally exhausted after that, and then I had my own district's activities to attend. So right now I'm kind of on I've got bumped way high up, and I just kind of dropped off the deep end because school ended a couple days ago. And I want to congratulate all of our graduates. And I'm going to stop, and that's less than a minute.
Thank you. Trustee Broughton?
I concur with my fellow trustees. It was a great commencement. Our commencement is always outstanding. It always rolls along beautifully. But I'm always amazed at how when we had no glitch. Thank you for the weather as well. It didn't blow the flags off the stage. It was perfect. So thank you so much for all that hard work. Michael, the speakers that you've added to our life here, I think they're great. Our speakers, thank you. They're very nice. Our employees that were introduced today. It reminds me that this college not only opens doors for students, where we open the door so that others can pass through, but it also opens doors for students as they mature, as they finish, or as they complete more of their education, and as we are a large employer. And it's nice to see our roadrunners come back. I'm also very happy to see that as we look for promotions, as our staff in various areas mature in their education and their experience. I love to see them advance. So I thank you for all of those that work on those committees, that consider their hiring. It's really exciting to have new folks, and especially someone that knows where Mecca is. The telescope at Mecca Thermal Campus, they kept telling me it was being put up. It's being put up. Actually, I heard it from the farmers. I kept going, where is it? I kept driving through. The other day, it's great. You go over the bridge on the 86 Expressway, and there you can see the telescope from the expressway. So that is so exciting. The community is excited. We have to thank our donor 1,000 times for what the wonderful experiences that our community is going to have. I like having on the consent agenda the first reading of our board policies. I think that's something we should consider doing in the future. Gives us an opportunity to pull it off if there's something we need to say about it, but a first reading is a first reading. So it's very nice to have them there. I believe that is all, except happy birthday to Joel. He keeps having birthdays. I quit some time ago.
He's caught up.
And no, he's still younger than I am. It's not fair. So, okay. Thank you very much. My report.
Thank you. In the interest of time in our schedule today, my report will also be very brief. I share the comments made by my colleagues here with regard to commencement. Job well done on everybody's side. And again, congratulations to our new student trustee. And that concludes my remarks. We now move on to Superintendent President Dr. Kinnaman.
And I will be brief as well. I would like to congratulate our new student trustee. Look forward to working with you this year. And the commencement team, faculty, staff, trustees, students, everybody that was involved, phenomenal. It was just, it was a dream.
Without a glitch.
It was a dream. And so I appreciate everything on top of all of the other events that everybody has to work on during the month of May. In addition, I believe we have an EEO pamphlet that fresh off the press that each of the trustees will have, and you should have a new catalog in your materials as well. And that concludes my remarks.
Okay, thank you. All right, we move on to item number 11, which is the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be considered for approval by a single vote without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda to be discussed and considered separately in the action agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
You do?
Second.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. Any discussion? Student trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. We now move on to the action agenda. Item number 12. Item A, there were no items pulled from the consent agenda, so we now move on to item B, which is the Board of Trustees, Board Policy Review, second reading. So we have Board Policy 5015, Residency Determination. Do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 5015 as presented?
So move.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, Student Trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. We move on to Board Policy 5035, Withholding of Student Records. Do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 5035 as presented?
You do?
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Student Trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried unanimously. We move on to Board Policy 5052, which is open enrollment. Do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 5052 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Student Trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion is carried unanimously. We move down to item number, Board Policy 5120, Transfer Center. Do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 5120 as presented?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, Student Trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Okay. We move on to Board Policy 5130, Financial Aid. Do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 5130 as presented?
So move.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Student Trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried unanimously. Okay, the last one, Board Policy 5400, Associated Students Organization. Do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 5400 as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, there is a motion and second on the floor. Is there any discussion?
No twisting of arms up here.
I know, let the record show, but trustee Broughton over here is pointing. Okay. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay. Seeing no discussion, student trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Wow. We did that. Okay, we move on to item number C, which is human resources. We actually have a number of resolutions here coming up, so. All right. First one is consideration of approval of resolution number 061517-6 and adoption of the College of the Desert Equal Employment Opportunity Plan in compliance with the California Education Code and Title V requirement. The Board of Trustees resolution reaffirms the district's commitment to non-discrimination and dedication to fostering a diverse and inclusive workplace. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 061517-6 as presented?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to make a comment on that.
Okay.
I think having something like this in writing and our commitment to diversity and the EEOC plan in place is very wonderful. I really want to thank those that put together this plan on behalf of the Desert Community College. I think our commitment to diversity and openness for our public institution is very instrumental, and showing throughout the Coachella Valley is very wonderful. So thank you so much for the team who put together this wonderful program. And is it online? I believe it's online right now. So having everything online, really easy to get to, is very important, because these are questions that I get, I'm sure like my fellow trustees, when we're out in the community, people ask us about certain policies, and are we adopting equal employment opportunities? So this is something that I'm very proud of, and I just want to thank the team who put this together, and thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments?
One quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on page 11, just for clarification, are the monitored groups, are those specified in the California Code of Regulations?
It's specified in Title V by the State Chancellor's Office.
So those are the, that's it?
That we have to monitor to report. It doesn't mean that we are not tracking and addressing other issues.
That's
These are
my
just the
question.
ones that we're required to report.
That was my
Actually, in the
question.
future, you'll see, once we have our committee established through CPC, additional activities, training, professional development, speakers, et cetera, to address diversity issues and provide education and information for the entire campus community, and it will be broad-based.
Good.
So
My
it'll be much.
question was that the monitored groups
I
appeared
agree,
like an
yes.
out-of-date.
But if you look at the non-discrimination statement in the board policy, much more inclusive and very broad.
Good.
So thank
But
you.
Sounds like you're way in control of that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? This is a resolution, so Dr. Kinnaman, please conduct the roll call vote.
Yes, student trustee Delgado,
Question.
Aye.
Aye.
student trustee Sanchez Fulton.
She's not
Aye.
a student trustee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Student trustee.
Yeah, I wish you got that, yeah.
You're welcome. Trustee Yant,
Aye.
trustee Stefan,
Aye.
trustee Broughton,
Aye.
trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. We move on to administrative services. And item number 1, which is the 2017-2018 tentative budget. Do I have a motion to approve the 2017-2018 tentative budget as presented?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Lisa, would you like to?
I have a brief presentation,
Okay.
I think.
and I'm going to try and keep it to about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Tentative budget is a requirement, however, it is just a placeholder. Our final adopted budget will be before the board for consideration in September. Here's our budget calendar, and as you know, budget is a continuous cycle. We are now at the adoption cycle for 17-18, but it really never ends. It just is circular in nature. Here are the state budget assumptions and where the budget is. So we know that we receive our first information in January on the state budget. Then we have the May revised information, which was recently released, and about, I think, on May 10th. Then action occurs. There's a lot of lobbying groups that try to change the minds of the legislature, and there has been one change that was approved by conference committee last Thursday, and it was not a great change for College of the Desert because it impacts the amount of money that we receive for deferred maintenance and instructional equipment. And that money went to, 59 million went to other state categorical programs, and unfortunately we are not to receive any of those additional monies. So in the packet or in your PowerPoint here, you'll have my notes and you can see all the details of where that $59 million went. The budget has yet to be adopted. It is in process right now. We expect that that should be happening any moment. How our assumptions of the state budget translate to our assumption is we projected 3% growth for next year. We do anticipate, notice by the way, that the state is only projecting 1%. So that means they're carving out 1% growth, but we believe we're a college that will grow 3%, and we believe we will be 100% funded with that additional growth. There was a base allocation increase. We were happy to see that, of 1.3 million, and that actually is based on your FTES. All colleges, all community colleges receive some type of base increase, but it is based on FTES, and that is what we believe our portion will be. We're receiving COLA this year of approximately $769,000. You'll see the deferred maintenance and instructional equipment. Our original estimate was $1,080,000, and it will be reduced given the conference committee projection at about $470,000. So again, that was a big reduction for us. Whoa, yeah. The assumptions we use for our tentative budget mimic that of what the state is. We have COLA, we have growth, the lottery, a revenue shortfall. Notice that we did wipe out the revenue shortfall for 16-17 because we do think that funding is there. We do then put it back for 17-18, and we will carry that until the fiscal year comes to close, and we will know at the state whether they will apply that or not. Those are all estimates, by the way. One thing of concern, or two things of concern, there are the STRS and the PERS rates. This is not a surprise. We continue to look at that, monitor that, and it costs us a whole bunch of money every time that those percentages go up. And there is no end in sight. They continue to cost us, I think you'll see in a later slide, but it's well over $600,000, the increase this year for us. Here is a brief look at the major expenditure net increases, $3.9 million of expenditure increases for our budget. So when we look at what is the increase, it's really where we are estimating to end in 2016-17 and the change for 2017-18. So notice that $602,000 there for your PERS and STRS. We have growth for faculty positions, our step and column, of course, which are mandatory contractual obligations. Adjunct assignment increases, again, related to growth. And we have various vacant, unfilled, or untilled. We have a little bit of a spelling there. Untilled position, that's a new one. We'll explain it next time. We have contractual obligation COLA for our faculty group and other related items. So that just gives you a ballpark of what is included in the numbers. When we look, and you always know that this is our combined Fund 10, it includes both restricted and unrestricted. Notice the increases and decreases. I always go to that line there to say what's going on. And we've got a positive number here and two negatives. I always get a bit concerned, but I want to drill down to our unrestricted categories. This is the part of the budget that we really have decision-making capabilities or power over. And I'm going to go to that line again to say that we've got estimated actuals, we anticipate a $2 million deficit, as well as next year almost $3 million. Now, we haven't closed our year yet, and you did see a tremendous amount of increased expenditures for 17-18 that are projected. We are concerned about this continued deficit pattern. We know this big number here, that 6.9 million, over 5 million of it was one-time money. It was that mandate settlement money that came in. So that gives us that balance. But again, a little bit of concern. We go from 15 million, which is a real actual number, 13.2, which is a projected number, down to 10, which is also projected. We go to Fund 12. This is our restricted dollars. If you remember, we continue to say we want to make sure we're spending those categorical money on the students that receive them. So we continue to try and spend down those monies in the years they were received. We've actually done a pretty good job of it, as you'll see later in the slides, in our graph. And then here is a picture of our ending fund balances, and that's the slide I was talking about. Is back in these years, we had tremendous restricted ending fund balances, and we've done a pretty good job the last several years of getting that down. The large growth here was that due to that $6 million almost increase, or $6 million of one-time money, and notice that then we anticipate those unrestricted fund balances to diminish. Our components of ending fund balance are simply taking the amount we're projecting to end with, and we have a board recommended reserve of 7.5%. We have a new market tax credit, which we are still awaiting Indio, some childcare and some things going on there, which we're making great progress with. And then the difference is just the appropriation for contingency. One of the things that Budget Subcommittee did this year that I thought was notable was they came up and they adopted financial stability indicators. This is something that we want to pay particular attention to, because this will monitor our budgets in the future, and this is how we will benchmark or balance our assumptions as to whether we are fiscally healthy or not. Notice the ones that have the asterisks on them are ones that are IEPI indicators, and that is the institutional effectiveness partnership initiatives. And that was a group that was put together and many of these, by the way, will become mandatory. Currently, there are only 2 that are mandatory, and those were fund balance and audit. And those were, I think, voted on 2 years ago. So we expect 4 more to be mandatory in 17-18. This is the look into the future, again, looking at our unrestricted Fund 11. I'm going to go to that line again, increase, decrease the fund balance. So what this tells us is that we have challenges ahead. We are spending more, projected to spend more than we're receiving, and it's going to require some additional work. We have to hone in and make sure that we are projecting accurate revenues, and we have to make sure that we have our expenditures in line. It is, thank goodness, that we have a healthy ending fund balance, and we have plenty of time to correct this pattern. It is one of the financial stability indicators, by the way, deficit spending. No deficit spending in at least one of every 3 years. So this is our first sign that there is anticipated concern. Our fund balance then, if we look at those future years, the number that sticks out is this blue 2.2 million. So if everything were to remain the same, we would be short of making our 7.5% and carrying our new market tax credit money by 2.2 million by 1920. Now, much of pressure on this budget is really much of it is due to the PERS and STIRS increases that continue to occur, something that have not been there in the past. And to date, we are well over close to $1 million of additional money spent in that area that we hadn't had in the past. Our other funds are also included in the board agenda, and there are many. All the details are there, as well as the details in the general fund budget, a much more comprehensive look, and they are posted online as well. So final thoughts and considerations. Our May budget is, our tentative budget is based on the May revise. The final budget will come before the board for consideration in September. Actual expenditures will then be reported. That will give us an update of where our fund balance is and how much deficit spending we have. And then the 17-18 budget will be based upon the adopted state budget, which is not yet available. And one more reminder that our MYP, or multi-year projection, indicates deficit spending in each of the 3 years projected that will need to be addressed. So it's not as pretty of a picture as we've had, but I do think that when you grow, it's a bit painful, and we're doing a lot, serving a lot of students, and so we just have to be a little bit more mindful. So with that, I'll take any questions.
2 questions for everyone's clarification. Could you explain to everyone's understanding the impact of increased enrollment?
Boy, there are many impacts.
Yeah.
Simple impacts are on the good side.
I was hoping
On the good side, I always start with the good side, sometimes. On the good side, more enrollment, it equates to more FTS. However, FTS isn't, you don't get the money that year. So it can be up to 18 months later. So you have this lag. So that's the good and the bad news. So increased enrollment, you get additional money. Increased enrollment, it costs you up front. So you have to hire staff and you have to serve students to have the increased enrollment. You have to have space. It costs you more from a facility standpoint. The more rooms you have, the more they have to be cleaned. It's a larger impact to the facility in itself. When we reach out to our other campuses, those also are expensive, and our expansions in Mecca, our expansion in Indio, those are all things that are difficult to do, but we know they're necessary. So again, monies are going to come out before they come in.
Yeah. So for everyone's understanding, increased enrollment, we may not see a positive impact for a year.
18 months could be 2. Yes, correct. And so we projected, our budget projects only 3% each and every year. And when I say only, I'm torn because 3% for this next year I think may be low. I think we may grow and we will be funded and may be funded at a higher rate depending on how our pledge and EDGE students and enrollments come. However, I am concerned at the state level about future growth funding. If you remember from 2008-9 through 2013, there was no growth funding available, and in fact, the only thing you were able to do is to grow to where you were. So that means that if you were to lose students, you would drop, you fall into stability, and you have a certain period of time to get back, but then you're not allowed to grow or you're not
Or you
funded.
could, but you would eat the cost.
Correct. It would cost with no additional revenues.
So what would your best picture look like for enrollment in the next 3 years?
From what we can serve financially, that's a difficult question. I can tell you at 3%, it's challenging unless we are funded for it. So that is the question, to spend. How much do you spend and how much do you risk up front? It's certainly easy to do in 1 year, which is, I think, what we're doing with Pledge. But then the question is, will that funding and that growth be available in 18-19? And that's something that we just don't know yet. Depends on the state economy.
As you could tell, that was my question,
Yes,
really.
yes. You should have just, long way around it, but complicated, but something that needs to be managed and looked at on a regular basis.
My second question for people's understanding, we see this in every state budget and almost every state agency budget, is the deferred maintenance. How, considering we have the fortunate new buildings, but how long before that comes to bite us big time?
So we are a very fortunate college in that we receive redevelopment funds, and we actually receive approximately $7 million a year in pass-through money. It's a gift because many colleges don't have that, and that is what we use to pay for our maintenance. Otherwise, there'd be competing funds, another one of those new words, competing funds with the instructional equipment that was there. Those two are tied together, so most colleges have that competition. We dedicate $2.5 million of our redevelopment money towards deferred maintenance of our buildings and our grounds.
And do we receive lottery funds?
We do.
Do they go in that budget?
No, lottery funds are in the general, there's a portion of them that's in the general fund unrestricted, and there's a small portion, Prop 20, that are reserved specifically for instructional materials.
So the real key is enrollment.
That is 70% of your funding is FTS allocation, apportionment, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Well, actually, a comment. I think if we see our budget and if everyone looks at that, we allocate the majority of our expenses towards our faculty. And I really appreciated that you kind of outlined, if you saw on that second slide, I think our faculty get, what, 632,000, wasn't it?
Those were new positions to
positions.
have growth. So
Yeah.
to serve more students,
We need to hire more.
So we hire more adjuncts, we hire more full-time faculty. There was a prioritization,
Yeah.
an annual prioritization. I think we prioritized 8 positions for full-time faculty this past year, and that equates to those dollars.
And those are jobs in the Coachella Valley. I'm all about jobs and workforce. So I think our district is doing a really great job being, aren't we like one of the top for paying our adjunct? Or we have some great numbers on how are the salaries that we give our faculty and our adjunct. Having been an adjunct faculty member here in the Desert Community College, and that was it means a lot to our part-time adjunct too, as well. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, Student Trustee Delgado, your vote, please.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion is carried unanimously. Thank you, Lisa, for your presentation. We move on to item number 2, which is resolution number 061517-3, temporary loan. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 061517-3?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Lisa, comment?
Just an annual, in the event that we don't receive enough money from the state for apportionment, we're able to transfer within our funds. So it's just a safe placeholder.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this item? Okay, this is a roll call vote. Dr. Kinnaman?
Yes. Student Trustee Delgado.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez Fulton.
Aye.
Trustee Yant.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Broughton.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
The motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Move on to item number 3, which is resolution number 061517-4, adoption of education protection account funding and expenditures. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion? Lisa?
Again, another placeholder. This has to do with Prop 30, and this just is the way the state accounts for it. It's a requirement that we each and every year transfer the amount of money that we've received, showing that we have indeed expended the money in the proper manner.
Okay, is there any other discussion or questions? If so, this is a resolution. Dr. Kinnaman?
Student Trustee Delgado.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez Fulton.
Aye.
Trustee Yant.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Broughton.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
The motion carried unanimously.
Okay, we move on to resolution, item number 4, resolution number 061517-5, appropriations subject to Proposition 4, GAN limitation. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, there is a motion and second on the floor. Lisa?
Again, another placeholder. This actually is the spending limit for the state of California. We hear often that that has to be approved. Our actual limit and what we spend is great. So what this appropriation does, it allows the state to use our excess. So we are a giver.
You are a giver. Okay, is there any discussion, questions? Okay, Dr. Kinnaman, this is a resolution.
Student Trustee Delgado.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez Fulton.
Aye.
Trustee Yant.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Trustee Broughton.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
The motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. We now move on to the area of student learning, and we have resolution number 061517-1 to approve designated personnel to sign California Department of Education contract CCTR-7172-00. Do I have a motion?
You do?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there is a motion and second on the floor. Dr. Ralston, do you have any comments?
Both this resolution and the one that follows it cover our relationship between the California Department of Education and our Child Development Center and our ability to earn income back that helps subsidize the cost of students attending the center. So thank you very much.
Are there any questions, Dr. Ralston? Okay, seeing none, this is a resolution, so roll call vote, please.
Student Trustee Delgado?
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez Fulton?
Aye.
Trustee Yant?
Aye.
Trustee Stefan?
Aye.
Trustee Broughton?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
The motion carried unanimously.
Okay. We move on to item number 2, which is resolution number 061517-2, approve designated personnel to sign California Department of Education contract number CSPP-7372-00. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So
Aye.
moved.
Okay, so moves, I'll second. Dr. Ralston, any further comment on this one? I know you made some.
Yeah, no additional information, just this allows Vice President Howell and I to be able to sign contracts on behalf of the staff.
Okay, is there any questions or discussion? If not, this is another resolution, so Dr. Kinnaman?
Student Trustee Delgado?
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez Fulton?
Yes.
Trustee Yant?
Aye.
Trustee Stefan?
Aye.
Trustee Broughton?
Aye.
Trustee Wilson?
Aye.
The motion carried unanimously.
Okay, we now move on to agenda item number 12, which is the information agenda. And we move to President Kinnaman.
Yes, we have administrative procedure reviews that we've been conducting on, I believe, a monthly basis. And this is a continuation of procedures that have been reviewed and have been taken to the College Planning Council for first and second readings.
Is there any question or comments with regard to these informational items?
I believe when we get board docs, we'll be able to see those through that program as well. I look forward to it.
Okay, and this is information, so there's no motion? Okay. What about item number 2, administrative procedure deactivation? Is there?
Again, this is another update.
Madam Chair, sorry. You should,
I'm lost.
Part two, very back.
Have we done with all of these?
yeah, she'll need to actually state them into the record.
Okay, so save
Oh,
questions
Yeah,
for next
so
time?
you'll need to, the following
Okay.
administrative procedures are,
Okay.
sorry.
They'll be in board docs.
Okay, so the following administrative procedures are being presented as information.
You can just read the AP and the number, you don't
Okay.
need to do the title.
AP 2360, AP 2365, AP 2740, AP 5010, AP 5011,
She's
Eight.
in order.
Backwards.
Yep, she's in
Backwards,
order.
okay.
AP 5050, AP 5070, AP 5110, AP 5200, AP 5210, AP 5300, AP 5410, AP 5420, and AP 5610.
Thank you.
So this is for information
Mhm.
then? So, this is basically, are we gonna go to our first, I have a question. So-
Yeah, it doesn't go to a reading.
It's just a procedure.
Okay.
We do policies, they do procedures.
Any other questions?
I just have a question on one of the policies that I think a typo, so I'll take it off. I just saw something very concerning.
If-
It's a procedure.
It's
not
yeah. So,
Yeah, if
apolo-
the-
yeah.
Can I speak?
Is the chair allowed?
Yes,
Sure.
go ahead.
Madam
Go right
Chair,
ahead.
if you see any typos or errors, those types of things you can bring to our attention, and we'll just make corrections
Okay.
to if there's anything that may have untilled us.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's in regards of the concurrent enrollment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this also includes item number 2, administrator procedure deactivation. And it is AP 7385, salary deductions. Is that it?
Yes.
I didn't get carded. Okay,
So, I do have a question about a couple of these, but I'll save that till when we go through them again.
okay.
That one I just-
Got it right.
yeah.
Right.
We move on to item number 14, future agenda items. Student trustee, are there any agenda items you would like to see the board address? No. Not at this time? Okay. Trustee?
Yes, I do. The Assembly Bill AB 1468, I'd like to see an update on that. Let me explain to you why. It was the emergency, a lot of our students are working 2 or 3 jobs. They're on financial aid. Our Assemblyman David Chu from San Francisco presented this bill, and I'd like to get a full update and how the impact for our Desert Community College, since the majority of our students are on financial aid. It's emergency aid for community college students due to unexpected financial emergencies. I think that bill, I want to know, how are we going to enact that? Is it for the next term? How, just because that happens to a lot of our students here in our Desert Community College when unexpected financial, someone dies, something happens, medical expenses. So now they're going to get more funding through the Cal Grants. It's AB Bill 1468, emergency aid for community college students throughout the state of California. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Yant?
No, no items.
Trustee Stefan?
No items at this time.
Madam Vice Chair?
No items at this time.
Okay, and I have no items, only to see that we do have a handout here. It's a draft of our self-study for reaffirmation of accreditation. Thank you. I know we're headed for that in the fall. Thank you so much. This is going to be incredible reading.
Also a bond
Okay.
update. If you read that into the minutes.
We also have a bond update too. Yeah, thank you. There is no need for a closed session at this time. So unless there's any other business for today, we do conclude this meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your patience in moving this meeting forward. As you know, we do have another meeting coming up, so thank you so much.
12:08.
And at 12:08, we are adjourned.